In the winter of 1944, we were part of an elite company of the 101st called Phoenix. Our orders came directly from General Peters. We were to escort some hotshot lieutenant who had vital information and get him across the Rickensburg border. The top secret information he carried in a little pouch was important enough to risk our lives over. As first sergeant, it was my job to hold his hand and deliver this lieutenant in one piece. I tried to explain to Lieutenant Stevenson about our current position and strength, but I swear it was like talking to the wall. That made me feel uncomfortable, and he knew it.
Good work, Sergeant. The rest of you men, move out!
That's when the words of my most trusted NCO, Bill Davidson, started to echo through my head. Sergeant Davidson served with Lieutenant Stevenson back in Holland. He helped me fill in the blanks about what kind of man I was dealing with. Sergeant Davidson informed me about the lieutenant's lack of concern over his own men. The objective was all he cared about. On their third patrol during that campaign, the lieutenant got a little impatient and pushed his platoon into an ambush. If it wasn't for Sergeant Davidson taking over, a lot of good men would have died. Lieutenant Stevenson threatened to have him demoted, and then transferred him the very next day. Regardless of how I felt, orders were orders, and Lieutenant Stevenson, like it or not, was our new platoon leader. It was my job to keep this company and platoon in one piece. That's all. It wasn't my place to decide who was or wasn't qualified for command. Still, I didn't like being kept in the dark about details of this operation. Lieutenant was a hard man to read, and I was beginning to distrust him. Later in the patrol, I made a quick check with the company headquarters and tried to inform the lieutenant.
Miller, I don't want the Germans getting past you. You understand?
Hold the line, gentlemen.
I'd been with most of these men since Normandy. I knew what their limits were. We'd been on the line for weeks before Stevenson showed up, and we definitely needed some rest. But that didn't matter to our new lieutenant.
First Sergeant, you worry about your unit. That's your job. The rest I'll handle. Take the point.
And he made damn sure I knew it.
Jensen! Sir, any sign of them?
Negative, sir. Second squad was down by the river, sir. We didn't see anything down there, sir. Sir, we are low on ammunition. We are only 400 meters behind the Germans, sir. We need ammunition, we need food, and sir, it is getting cold out here. We've got to keep moving, sir.
Have we been able to make radio contact?
Negative, sir. Sir, if we don't keep moving, we're going to get encircled and we will never get out of here. We've got to keep moving, sir.
All right, Sergeant. There's only one way out. That direction. We'll see if we can find Miller and the others.
Yes, sir.
Move.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
Report for Sergeant. Second squad's got the perimeter secure. We're ready for a counterattack.
Excellent, excellent.
And you know what, Sarge? I know what I'm more scared of here, the Germans or our own lieutenant.
Well, something tells me we're about to find out. Sir, those Jerry's down there by the river, they wouldn't happen to have anything to do with that courier packet you got on you, is it, sir?
That information is need to know, Sergeant. And right now, you don't need to know. I want a clear path between here and the rendezvous checkpoint. And I don't expect to see any crowd soldiers standing between here and there. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Then assemble your men. We've got a job to do.
As I made my way back to the platoon, I had a feeling we had some unwanted company. There was no way that Krauts could have set up an ambush that strong in such a short period of time. Something didn't add up. It was as if they knew exactly where we were headed and what our next moves were. That's when I sent Bill and his squad ahead to scout for any heavy machine guns. How did I know it would be the last words I'd ever speak to him? After taking a quick look at the casualty report, I decided to gather my men and say out loud what everybody else was thinking.
All right, listen up. That Kraut unit knew exactly where and when to hit us. That means only one thing. We've got a traitor in this unit.
From this point on, I ordered all my men to stay behind and hold our position. I wasn't about to lose another single man for a mission I didn't care about, and a lieutenant who cared even less about us. From this point on, it was just me and the lieutenant, whether he liked it or not. As we got closer to our objective, the resistance became heavy. With less than a mile to go to deliver our lieutenant to his destination, my thoughts began to reflect on the men I lost. No one would have blamed me if I shot the lieutenant in the back and buried him in the snow. But I was too well trained for that. Besides, if he was the traitor, I'd rather see him die like one. It was a long and dangerous cold trip back to my men, but not nearly as cold as our commanding officer, Lieutenant Stevenson. We started out distrusting him, then hating him. We completed the mission and delivered him and his precious packet to headquarters, just as ordered. As the war continued, we realized the lieutenant could be trusted. He would earn that trust over the course of the next several missions. You know, none of us would ever admit it to his face, but we were glad he was on our side, even if it meant never getting close to the men in his unit. This was just one of the many recon missions carried out by our company. We were just another unit doing our best to stay alive. This is their story. My story. The story of the toughest, goddamn company in the 101st that helped break the back of Hitler's Germany. To the army, we were known as Phoenix Company. But everybody else, well, they just called us Boken Heroes.